So it says here I have a viewer, two viewers, so welcome. We're not going to get started right away, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was working. So yeah, just sit tight and I will get started in about 5 minutes. So I can see a few more of you guys have joined us. So we are live. I'm going to get started at 2. So I'm like looking around for a song to play so that it's not just the silence. But yeah, just hang tight and we'll get started really soon. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. Welcome. It's okay, cool. We're gonna get started, I think. And so I know you and I haven't actually had a chance really to try out what the screen sharing looks like. So whenever, just so you know, it will flip to you whenever you're talking. So if you, we're gonna get started, I think. And so I know you and I haven't actually had a chance really to try out what the screen sharing looks like. So whenever, just so you know, it will flip to you whenever you're talking. So if you, we're gonna get started, I think. And so I know you and I haven't actually had a chance really to try out what the screen sharing looks like. So whenever, just so you know, it will flip to you. All right. So Lori, I'm actually going to have you, I'm just going to pause you for a second here. I know you and I haven't actually had a chance really to. So Lori, I just muted you here for a second. Just if you want to grab some headphones so it doesn't have this like feedback loop.
Okay, sure.
So Lori, I'm actually going to have you, I'm just going to pause you for a second here. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Catherine. I'm Catherine Tang. I am a teacher in Kingston, Ontario, and I'm so excited that you guys are joining us here. Sorry, I have my notes on the side here. So I teach grade 7 right now in an integrated arts program. Primarily, I teach my own class. I teach them literacy, and I also teach math to both grade 7 classes in our program, and then I teach gym to all 4, so both grade 7 and both grade 8 classes in the program. And so I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you guys about Microsoft OneNote and how I use it as a daybook. And yeah, I had Lori here, and she's actually another teacher at my school. And so I think she maybe ran to get some headphones so that this will work a little bit better. So I'm just going to flip over and give you guys a rundown of what the session is going to look like. And that way I'll give you a sense of kind of where we're going. All right, so I'm going to start off just with an introduction to OneNote. So just some of the features, talk a little about how I use it, and then I'm going to go through and talk a bit about my daybook history, what other forms of the daybook I've used before, and why I'm using OneNote now. And then we'll go a little bit deeper into what my planner actually looks like. So I'll walk you through it in the different sections. And then we'll wrap up and I'll take any questions. And yeah, hopefully this will be a really great learning experience for you guys and also for me. So we're gonna, just to give you guys a little bit of, just to give you a bit of background. So our board actually has board accounts both for Microsoft and for Google. So we have the choice really of which one we want to use. And so for most of my teaching related documents, my lesson plans, my daybook, my markbook, all of those things, I use Microsoft. And then all of the things that my students access, like their project outlines, any work assignments, generally I use Google. So let's take a look at OneNote. Okay, so this is what OneNote looks like on so it's OneNote Online, so it's the online browser. So you can actually download OneNote for your tablet, for your phone. You can also download a desktop version, but I generally like to use it just on the browser. So I've got a little section here just so that I can walk you guys through how OneNote works and what are some of the things that you can do. And so OneNote is really like a digital binder. You'll see here it says notebooks. And this notebook that I have right now is my LEAP planner. And I've got other notebooks, some for like my PD. So you can have as many notebooks as you want. And within each notebook, you've got sections. And so these are the sections that I have. You can move your sections around just by, dragging. You can make them different colors, which I always love to do. And then within each section, you have these pages. So you'll see how my Daybook, I've got all these different pages, and then we'll take a look here. All right, so I talked about creating and moving sections. You can type notes just like you would in any word processor. You can manipulate using the Home tab. You've got kind of a toolbar up here. You can highlight words. You can change the font. You can change it to a different type of font. I can change it to a different size. You can change the color. And there are other things that you can kind of play with here as well. You can also make lists, bullets, different types of bullets, different types of numbered lists. You can use tags. So these are kind of cool. There are tons of different tags, but it's just a way for you to kind of capture something that's maybe particularly important, or just to distinguish one thing from another within your notes. You can insert tables. So kind of at the top here, insert, and this is kind of what I use to create my Daybook template. I just made a table and then put my whole schedule in. And so that's what that looks like. It'll expand as you fill it with text. You can insert pictures from your file. You'll see at the top here, this is for pictures from your computer, and this is for online pictures that you can search. So let's just say I want to put in this little image that I created for the presentation. And there it is, and I can resize it. One of the great functions of this is I can actually insert files. So if I have something that I want to refer to within my Daybook, I can do that. So I'll choose a file. Maybe this is a project my kids are working on right now, so I could just insert it there. I talked a little bit earlier about how we have, so I'm using the online version right now, and then you can use it on your phone or your tablet. I find that they're pretty similar, but they have some different functionality. So for example, if I wanted to look at this file, I actually have to download a copy of it as opposed to it just opening. So that's something I think that's maybe a little bit different if you're using the desktop version. I love that you can insert links. And so if I just click on this, I want to insert a link. Maybe let's say I want to go to Twitter. So this is great if you're ever, needing to link to a video or link to some sort of online site for your class, for your lesson. And then you just click on it, and then it'll open up to whatever you are doing. Other than inserting, you can also draw. So I don't actually use these tools that much, but they're kind of cool. You can highlight. I can draw smiley faces. If you have a Surface Pro, I think there's some really cool options if you have a stylus that allows you to really annotate your notes in OneNote. And so I don't have a Surface Pro, so unfortunately I can't do that, but this is great. And of course you can change the thickness of your lines and your colors. So I'm going to change it back to type here so I don't draw all over my notes. You can also, in the corner here, you can share with people. And that's great because it allows you to collaborate on the same notebook. You can see real-time changes. You just type in their email addresses, and then you share with them. And so very similar to kind of Google Docs in this collaboration space. And of course, you can print a page. So really simple. yeah, so that's kind of what that looks like. One of the troubles I have had in the past, though, have been with the syncing. So sometimes they don't always talk to each other. So that's why I tend to use the online version, because that way I know that everything is saved. So if we take a look at sort of my history with Daybooks, I will just going to flip the screen here. And hello, bring you back over to this. Oh yes, this is a good reminder. If you are watching right now and you have any thoughts or anything like that, please do tweet to this hashtag M.A.D. That way we can take a look afterwards and answer any questions, or just so that we have a kind of a running record of what's going on during this session. So my Daybook history, the first thing that I used was pencil and paper. I had, you know, a template. This was my template for every day. And I loved that it was easy to use. I could always, I would just, you know, write whatever it was that I needed to do. I had a section for any reflections or other notes. And then I had, you know, one of these for day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so that I would just photocopy them and they would be in a binder. And so the problem with that was that I only had one copy. And because I'm someone who tends to do a lot of my planning at home, I would be lugging home my binder every day. And on the days that I was sick, or if I had a supply, I would have to send everything in electronically. And so it was not as easy, I found, to be flexible with my planning. And so from there, I moved to this really cool tool called Planboard. I use this, as you can see in the date, in 2014. And so I think they probably have made some changes. Whoops. They have made some changes since. But I really liked that it was digital. I could use, I could access it at school. I could access it wherever I had my computer. And it also, you could kind of sync it with the curriculum expectations for a particular subject or place. So I could, for math, I could actually pick out the grade 7 math curriculum documents and check off which expectations I was addressing on a particular day. So that was really cool. But the problem with this one was that I found it was a little bit hard to move things around or make any sort of special notes. And on days where, for example, if you had lip syncs during, you know, period 2 and 3, and then you had like a book fair, it wasn't as flexible. So from there, I moved on to Notability, and this is probably still one of my favorite apps of all time. It is really, really flexible for note-taking. And I would take, so the template that I had over here, I pretty much saved it as an image and I put it in to Notability, and then I could write on top of it. I could highlight, I could draw little pictures if I wanted to. And this little scissor tool is great because you can kind of, you just circle whatever it is you want to work with, and then you can pinch and zoom to actually make it bigger or smaller. So it was really great for note taking. And as you can see, I used it for a lot of things, not just for my Daybook. The big problem with this was with my storage. So I actually stopped using Notability because my iPad ran out of room to save all of the Notability PDFs that these were kind of turning into. So one thing with Notability is that you can create, you can back it up or link it to your Google Drive, and that's what I did. And so I had all of these, and it saves it as a PDF. So I had all of my weeks for my Daybook kind of accessible by Drive, but I couldn't necessarily edit it unless I was in the app. And so that brought me here to OneNote. What's great about OneNote is that it has probably the most robust organization system that I've come across so far. I have notebooks and sections and pages, and it just helps me keep everything really organized. One of the downsides, I'll show you guys a little bit later, was the formatting can be tricky on the online version when you're working with tables. So that was one thing that I kind of had to work around, and I'll show you guys how I did that. And like I said earlier, the syncing isn't always great with OneNote. All right, so I'm gonna jump back now to see, so you guys can see what my actual planner looks like. And all right. So we'll kind of go section by section. So this is my Daybook. You can see that every page is 1 week's worth of plans. And so in every week, kind of, I just have, you know, what day of the 5-day cycle it is and also the date. Then I have a space for notes. So what I put in here are, you know, times that I'm away, maybe I have something before school, events that maybe my students are a part of that day. I've been trying this year also to use the space to record students who are absent, but I haven't been very diligent about that. So that's kind of a next step for me. And then I've got space for every period, and then also a space at the end of the day for, or at the end of the table for any after school things that are happening. What's really great is that I can easily link to, so here, for example, you can see that the slideshow, this is a slideshow that I was using for this particular lesson. And so it was great that I don't have to queue them up. I can just click on it and then it'll open. And if I go back, I think this week, it'll show you, sometimes my lesson planning, I just do it right in my Daybook, and sometimes I actually have more formal lesson plans. And so this was one of my more formal plans. And again, it's just a link and it brings me to kind of my lesson plan. And it's great because then I don't have to always have, you know, physical copies of everything. And then I can always go back and see exactly what I did. And so you'll see here that I've got all of my days, all of my weeks up until the end of the year. And then I have my template, and then any weeks that I've already, so for example, this week has already passed. I can move that down to here, and I've got all of my weeks kind of right to the beginning of the school year. And so if you take a look at kind of my template, how I actually created each of these pages was I took my 5-day cycle and I created a table, and I just wrote my schedule in, and then I wrote it again over here because, so let's say I wanted to, so this is what I was talking about with the formatting. So if I try to do this and I want to paste it, it screws everything up. It doesn't like paste where I want it to. And so let's say my week starts at day 3 and it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What I do is I just take all of this, I will click here to make a new page. So I'll just call this week X. I'll paste it. And even though it starts on day 3, I've got this day 1 and day 2 here. So then I'll delete those. And then I have kind of my 5 days. And that's kind of all I do to create each of these different, all of these different pages. All right, so the next section is my unit plans. Oh, sorry, before I jump back to that, something that I really like about having all of the weeks laid out ahead of time is that I think one of these weeks we have, yeah, immunizations. And so this was something that came out in our communication from our administrators. And so this is not something that I will remember easily. So to have my day plans this far in advance, so I can just write it in, that way I can kind of, I know that it's being taken care of. And so I really like that aspect of having my day plan kind of organized this way. So my unit plans, this really is a bit of a misnomer. It's more of a lesson flow and a place to put any resources. For a lot of my, you'll see that I kind of have a bunch of units here, even like certain ones that maybe I'm not teaching this year, but I think that I'll be teaching in the future. I keep it here so that I can put any things that I come across online into this page. And so like I'm currently actually in algebra, but you'll see that there's almost nothing here because everything is in this PDF. And this, I'm trying to remember where I found this, but this was a little intro activity that I found like a few months ago, and I thought, oh, this would be really great for algebra. So I just threw it in here so that I had it when I actually came to the unit. So it's still pretty incomplete, but at least I have a central place to put my resources and to see where I'm going in my lessons. So my long range plans are, again, like I have a separate document for my long range plans, but this is nice just so that I have kind of at a snapshot what I'm doing and what my expectations are. So I'm someone who, like, I tend to reflect a lot on my day and on how things are going, and I'll have these little one-off thoughts about, you know, oh, what I want to do a little bit differently next year. So in my thoughts for next year section, I've got sort of administrative, the things that I think in terms of the school day or kind of not specific classroom related things that I think of, I'll just type in here. And then if I have things for more of how I want to change things in the classroom, I put them here. And then for each of the subjects, I also have spaces too. These ones are pretty sparse. Yeah, so just things that I was thinking about. And at the end of the year, what I'll do is actually go back and look at this section, look at my binders, and start making plans for any changes that I want to make for the next year. So this is my student log. This is, so I don't want to like actually show you what's in here, but so these are things that I generally will write in the student logs, things that are happening in their lives. So, you know, if someone's grandma has just passed away, I'll make a note of that. Or, you know, someone has a new baby brother, they've got competitions, that sort of thing. I'll write them down so I can kind of refer to it. I have this little collection of, you know, who the student is and interactions that maybe we've had. If I had a really interesting conversation with a student about books and what he or she likes to read, I'll put that in so I can be kind of thinking about that. Next time I go to the library and I see things that I think will spark their interest. I'll write down kind of academically or even socially any successes or challenges that I think that they're experiencing. And then it's a good place also to write down upcoming absences. So if I know they're going to be away for a hockey tournament or their family is going on a cruise, I will write those things down just so I have them kind of safe. I find that this is really great for not just getting a snapshot of my students, but also when it comes to report cards, having a place to put comments. And last but not least, summer plans. This is just kind of a new part of a new section in my notebook that I've started recently, just as I start thinking about what I want to do in the summer. So these are just kind of, it's just a list. There's no priority or anything like that of what I want to be doing. And I'll start making some notes here as I develop my long range plans. Yeah, so that's, here, let me just flip back here. All right, so content-wise, that's all that I have for you guys. But I do want to give a chance. I'll kind of take a look at the Twitter feed and see if any of you guys have any questions or if any of you want any help in terms of how to actually set up your own daybook. So I'm just going to take a look over here. I don't see anything, so I guess I'll kind of leave this live for a little bit longer. And yeah, hopefully this was a good time for you guys. Hope you guys took something away from this. And yeah, thanks for watching along. As I awkwardly sit here, I'll flip back to maybe, whoops, to this so that it's not just looking at me. All right, so yeah, thanks again for coming, and hopefully I'll get a chance to connect with some of you on Twitter or in person. Okay, so I'm not, I don't think there are any questions or comments or anything like that on the stream, but if any of you ever want to connect with me or have any questions and you want to ask me, I am more than happy to talk to you guys. Let me just, so if you want, I will write down my my Twitter handle and my email so that you guys can contact me. So my Twitter handle is at edu scribblings, and my email is just my last name, Tang, and my first name, Catherine, at limestone.on.ca. So I'll hold it up. So there we go. I don't know if it flips it, but hopefully that works. And I'll put it up as well on Twitter, and maybe I'll make a page or I'll make a slide here, and that way it's kind of saved in the internet forever. 1 second. All right, so there you go, for any of you guys who want that information or want to get in touch with me. So thanks a lot, and hope to talk to you guys soon.